Hi students, let's learn how salt can be formed and then how to name them accordingly. First of all, what is salt? It is produced in any reaction between an acid and a base or alkali depends on two things, which is the acid that we use and the metal that in the base or alkali. So the name of the salt has two parts based on the reactant that we use. So the first part of the name comes from the metal oxide or the metal carbonate that present in the base or alkali, and the second part will come from the acid. So that's how we name them. So we will go further into this. So first reaction that we're going to see is the reaction of metal with acid. So when metal react with acid, it will produce a bubble. For example, when you put magnesium and acid together, it will produce bubble, which means a gas is produced. So how can you test to find out that if the gas produces hydrogen? Then you need to use a burning wooden splint. If a squeaky pop sound produced, it shows that hydrogen gas is produced in this reaction. So when a metal reacts with an acid, the product will be the salt and hydrogen gas. So the salt produced will depend on the metal and type of acid that involved. So what I meant by that is, if you want to use hydrochloric acid, so the salt name will follow as metal chloride. So the metal name will follow whatever metal we use. The hydrochloric acid will give you the chloride name for the salt, and hydrogen gas will be released. If you want to use sulfuric acid, then the salt name will be metal sulfate. And if you're using nitric acid, then the salt name will be metal nitrate. Let's see some examples of word equation that involve different metals and acid. So the first one, magnesium plus nitric acid. So magnesium will be the metal name, the first name. The nitric acid will be nitrate in the form of salt. So magnesium nitrate is the salt name. If iron and sulfuric acid, so it's supposed to be iron sulfate. Zinc and hydrochloric acid will give you zinc chloride. How if I already have the product which is lead sulfate and hydrogen? What will be the possible reactant? So lead will be the metal that we use and sulfate comes from sulfuric acid. So this is how we actually identify the reactant and the product, and also the way of naming. So let's see the second reaction between the metal carbonate with acid. So when metal carbonate reacts with acid, it will give off carbon dioxide, which can be tested using lime water. If it's turned cloudy or milky white, it confirms the presence of carbon dioxide in this particular reaction. But then most metal carbonates are not very soluble, so the reactions may be slow. So when a metal carbonate reacts with an acid, the product will be salt, carbon dioxide and water. The name of the salt, as what I told you just now, you just follow the metal name and the acid that we use. If you're using hydrochloric acid, then it's metal chloride, sulfuric acid means sulfate, nitric acid means nitrate. And the extra product, the byproduct will be the carbon dioxide and water, in case if you're using metal carbonate. So look at this question, example here. Sodium carbonate plus nitric acid will give you sodium nitrate, carbon dioxide and water. For you to get calcium and extra product is carbon dioxide and water, so it's supposed to be calcium carbonate. Zinc carbonate and sulfuric acid will give you zinc sulfate, carbon dioxide and water. Now let's look at the third reaction between a metal oxide and acid. These products, the product will be the salt and water. So when metal oxide reacts with acid, it will produce salt and water. Metal oxide is typically base. So when base, which is a chemical that reacts with an acid to produce salt and water, which is actually equal to neutralisation process. So acid and alkali, you will produce salt and water, right? So metal oxide also act like a base that react with acid to form salt and water. So in case if you are using magnesium oxide with nitric acid, so the metal name is magnesium. Whenever you use nitric acid, the salt name will be nitrate and water will be produced as the byproduct. For this second one, zinc sulfate and water, and the third one will be iron chloride and water. So what is neutralization process? Is when you take the acid, react with the alkali to form salt and water. So acid, the pH value is less than 7, sorry. Alkali will be more than 7. So the neutral part of the reaction where you become salt and water, so the pH will be nearing 7. Okay, this is what we call as neutralization process. So these are the reactions that produce salt. So we have reactions of metal with acid, reaction of metal carbonate with acid, reaction of metal oxide with acid, and acid with alkali that also will produce the salt. So overall, this video will help you to understand better about formation of salt and how to name them. Thank you.